You're sitting at the back corner table. Same spot every Tuesday. The espresso's cold, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the line forming near the bar. One by one, your soldiers approach. Each one slides an envelope across the table without sitting down. You don't open them, you don't count, you just nod, and they disappear. This is your tribute collection. Every week, same routine. And you're the one they answer to now. You're a Caporegime, a captain, and you command a crew of 20 made men in one of New York's 5 families. It took you 15 years to get here. 15 years of proving yourself as a soldier. 15 years of keeping your mouth shut when you got arrested. 15 years of making money and kicking it up to your old captain without asking questions. Then your captain got indicted. The boss called you in, told you that you were running the crew now. No ceremony, no celebration, just responsibility. You thought it would feel different. You thought there'd be more respect, more freedom, more money. You were right about the respect. You were wrong about everything else. Your territory. The boss gives you a specific piece of Brooklyn, 12 square blocks. Everything that happens there, every dollar that moves through those streets, you're responsible for it. 4 bookmaking operations, 3 loan sharking operations, total legitimate businesses paying protection, 1 union local you control through intimidation. Your job is simple: make money, lots of it. You oversee every criminal operation in your territory, manage the finances, and ensure profits flow up to the boss. The main duty is keeping the money coming in. The soldiers under you run the day-to-day operations. They collect from gamblers who owe, they shake down businesses, they move stolen goods, they handle whatever needs handling. But you're the one who decides what rackets to run and where to run them. Your territory might be defined geographically, or it might be defined by the rackets you operate. Either way, everything in your area belongs to you, until the boss decides it doesn't. The money. Every Monday morning, you count the envelopes. 20 soldiers, 20 separate operations. The bookmaking operation pulled in $12,000 this week. The loan sharking bought in $8,000. The protection rackets added another $6,000. $26,000 total. You keep your cut, then you pass the rest up. You give a percentage of your earnings and your underlings' earnings to the boss. He takes his share, the underboss takes his. The consigliere sometimes gets a piece. What's left is yours. Some weeks you're clearing $15,000. Other weeks it's $8,000. It depends on how much your soldiers earn and how much the boss demands. Your annual earnings likely exceed $500,000 in a good year. You drive a nice car, you wear expensive suits, you eat at the best restaurants, and nobody brings you a check. But you can't deposit that money in a bank. You can't buy a house in your name. You can't invest it legally. So you hide cash in your basement and your mother's apartment and a safe deposit box under a fake name. You're rich, but you live like you're being hunted. Because you are.
Your crew. 20 soldiers. That's your crew. Some of them are sharp, some of them are dangerous, some of them are loyal, and some of them want your job. Your role involves maintaining discipline within the crew and ensuring their loyalty to the higher ranks. One of your soldiers, Frankie, is making serious money with a gambling operation in Queens. He's pulling in more than you some weeks. The other soldiers respect him. The boss has noticed him. You know what that means. He's being watched. If he continues earning like this, the boss might promote him, might give him his own crew, might carve out a piece of your territory and hand it to him. So you have 2 choices. Keep Frankie happy and earning, or find a reason to have him killed before he becomes a threat. This is the job nobody tells you about. Managing ambition, controlling egos, making sure your soldiers respect you enough to obey you, but fear you enough not to challenge you. You must show yourself to be ruthless, resourceful, and a good leader, but must also be wary that those above you don't get worried by your ambition. One soldier under you got arrested last month. He's facing 15 years. If he cooperates, 30 of your crew's operations get exposed, including you. You visit his wife, you give her $5,000 cash. You tell her the family takes care of its own. You tell her that when he gets out, there's a place for him. What you don't tell her is that if he even thinks about talking to the FBI, you'll have him killed in prison before he finishes his first sentence. The meetings. Every Wednesday, you meet with the underboss. He passes down orders from the boss. You pass up the money you collected. The underboss tells you the boss wants more, always more. The family's legal expense is a mountain. 2 soldiers got arrested. The lawyers need paying. The boss wants each captain to kick up an extra $10,000 this month. You don't argue, you just nod. You report directly to the underboss, who gives you permission to perform criminal activities. Without that permission, nothing happens. If the boss wants someone killed, the order comes through the underboss to you. If the family decides to murder someone, the underboss normally asks a Caporegime to carry out the order. You pick which soldier handles it. You give the order. You make sure it gets done cleanly. But you're also responsible if it goes wrong. If the hit gets botched, if the soldier gets caught, if the wrong person gets killed, that's on you. If a capo becomes powerful enough, he can sometimes wield more power than some of his superiors. You've seen it happen. Captains who earned so much money that they became untouchable. Captains who the boss relied on so heavily that they basically ran the family. But you've also seen what happens when a captain gets too powerful, when the boss starts worrying that you're building your own empire inside his empire. Those captains don't stay captains for long. The protection racket. You walk into a restaurant on your territory, the owner sees you and his face goes pale. He knows why you're here. You sit down, you order coffee. You don't touch it. Nice place you got here. Be a shame if something happened to it. Fires happen, vandalism happens. You need protection. He asks how much. You tell him $500 a week. He says he can't afford that. You tell him he can't afford not to pay it. The twist is that the Mafia members themselves are the criminals who threaten the business. You're not protecting him from anyone except yourself. He agrees. Every Friday, one of your soldiers stops by to pick up the envelope. If the restaurant owner is short one week, your soldier reminds him what happens to people who don't pay. This is the racket that's been running for decades. Protection racketeers control territories, as local businesses may collapse if forced to pay for protection from too many rackets. Your territory is yours. Nobody else can shake down these businesses. If another crew tries to move in, you go to war.
The gambling operation. Your biggest earner is the bookmaking operation. Illegal gambling has been a major revenue stream, along with extortion, loan sharking, protection rackets, and labor racketeering. 3 of your soldiers run wire rooms across Brooklyn. They take bets on football, basketball, horse racing, whatever people want to gamble on. The operation manages the day-to-day activities, settles bettors' disputes, authorizes and accounts for the debts and payouts, and lays off certain bets. On a good week, the operation clears $20,000. Most of that goes up the chain, but you keep enough to make it worthwhile. The problem is when someone loses big and can't pay. A gambler owes $18,000 to one of your bookies. He's 3 weeks late. He's avoiding phone calls. He's avoiding the social clubs. You send 2 soldiers to his apartment. They break his hand. They tell him he has 48 hours to come up with the money or they break something that won't heal. He shows up the next day with $9,000, half. He promises the rest in 2 weeks. You have a choice: accept a partial payment and give him time, or make an example of him to show the other gamblers what happens when you don't pay. You take the 9,000. You give him one more week. Not because you're merciful, but because a dead gambler can't pay the other 9,000 he owes. The loan sharking. One of your soldiers runs a loan sharking operation out of a storefront in Bensonhurst. He lends money to people who can't get loans from banks. Guys with bad credit, guys with gambling debts, guys who need cash fast and don't ask about interest rates. The interest is 3% per week. If someone borrows $10,000, they owe $300 every week just on interest. The principal never goes down unless they pay extra. If someone's slow to pay back what they owe, your soldier threatens them with explicit threats of physical violence. Most people pay. Some people can't. Those people get hurt. You're sitting in the back office when your soldier brings in a guy who's 6 weeks behind. He owes $4,000 now, with interest. He's crying, he's begging, he's saying his wife doesn't know, his kids don't know. Please, just give him more time. Your soldier looks at you. You nod. They take the guy into the back room. You hear the sounds. You don't need to see it. When they bring him out, he's bleeding and he can barely walk. But he understands now. He'll find the money. This is the business. You're not a banker. You're not a social worker. You're a criminal. And the only thing that keeps this operation running is fear. The labor racket. In labor racketeering, it's usually a capo who controls the infiltration of union locals. You control a union local representing construction workers in Brooklyn. The union president is on your payroll. Every hiring decision goes through him. Every contract negotiation includes a kickback to you. A construction company wants to build a new apartment complex in your territory. They need union labor. They come to you. You tell them it'll cost an extra $200,000 in cash, off the books. Half now, half when the project's done. They agree. They don't have a choice. If they refuse, the union goes on strike. The project gets delayed. They lose millions. This racket is perfect because it's almost legal. You're just a union representative helping negotiate contracts. Nobody can prove the cash payments. Nobody can prove the threats. The money flows in, the construction continues, everyone gets paid.
The hit. The underboss calls you in. He tells you there's a problem. One of the soldiers in another crew has been skimming money. The boss wants him gone. This is your job. If the family decides to murder someone, the underboss normally asks a Caporegime to carry out the order. You pick 2 of your best soldiers, you tell them the target, you tell them to make it clean. No witnesses, no mistakes. They follow the target for a week, they learn his routine, they figure out when he's alone. On a Tuesday night, they wait outside a social club in Bay Ridge. The target comes out at 11. He's walking to his car. Nobody's around. 2 shots, he's down. Your soldiers are gone in 30 seconds. The next morning, you read about it in the newspaper. The police have no suspects. The family has no comment. You never mention it again. Neither do your soldiers. The target's name is never spoken. This is the reality of being a captain. You can be called on to carry out a hit which cannot be trusted to anybody lower in the hierarchy. You order murders, you organize them, you make sure they happen quietly and efficiently. And if one of your soldiers screws it up, if he leaves evidence or gets seen or kills the wrong person, you're the one who answers for it. The fear. You're making more money than you ever thought possible. You command respect from 20 made men and 100 associates. You walk into rooms and people move out of your way. But you can't sleep through the night anymore. Every phone call could be the FBI. Every car following you could be surveillance. Every meeting could be your last. The boss doesn't trust anyone. The underboss is always watching. Your soldiers are ambitious. The other captains want your territory. And then there's the law. The FBI has been watching your crew for 2 years. You don't know how you know, but you know. They got surveillance photos. They probably got wiretaps. They're building a case. As a capo, you're now a target from law enforcement, rival families, and even your own crew. You're a bigger fish, which means your name is on more wiretaps, your face is on more bulletin boards, and your enemies want what you have. One of your soldiers might be cooperating. You don't know which one, but statistically, someone always flips. Someone always takes a deal. Someone always wears a wire. You watch what you say, you never use names, you speak in code, you change locations constantly. But you know it's only a matter of time. The pressure from above. The boss calls a meeting. All the captains are there. He's angry. The family's income is down. The legal bills are piling up. 3 soldiers got arrested last month. The boss needs more money from everyone. He looks at each captain. He says he wants 20% more from every crew starting immediately. You can't argue. You can't negotiate. You just nod and accept it. You must follow the limitations and guidelines created by the boss, as well as pay him his cut of the profits. So, you go back to your crew. You call your soldiers they need to earn more. You tell them to expand operations. You tell them to take more risks. Some of them push back. They say it's too hot right now. They say the FBI is watching. They say 20% more is impossible. You tell them to figure it out, because if the boss doesn't get his money, it's your head on the line, not theirs. The boss give it, and the boss take it away. You're only a captain as long as he allows it. The boss can promote or demote family members at will. One captain got demoted last year. He wasn't earning enough. The boss gave his territory to someone else and bumped him back down to soldier. That captain disappeared 6 months later. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody asks.
The trap. You're lying in bed at 3 in the morning. You can't sleep. Your wife is next to you, but you haven't really talked to her in months. She knows what you do, but she doesn't know the details. She doesn't want to know. Your daughter is 16. She thinks you work in construction. She thinks you're a businessman. She doesn't know that half the fathers at her school pay tribute to you. You're making $500,000 a year, but you can't tell her. You can't explain where the money comes from. You can't be honest about anything. You think about your father. He was a soldier. He died in prison. You swore you'd be different. You'd be smarter. You'd be more careful. But here you are, a captain in a crime family. One bad decision away from life in prison. One rat away from a murder charge. One moment of bad luck away from getting killed by your own people. You have to watch what you say, where you go, and who you trust. You've got more freedom, sure. You run your rackets how you see fit, but you're also responsible for your guys. If one of your soldiers mouths off, skips tribute, or gets arrested and flips, that blood might be on you. This is the position you fought 15 years to reach. This is what you thought you wanted. And now that you're here, you realize the truth. Capos are nominated by the underboss, but typically chosen by the boss himself. You serve at his pleasure. You exist because he allows it. You're not free. You're more trapped than you've ever been. But you can't leave. You can't quit. You can't retire. This is a life sentence that doesn't require a conviction. You made your choice a long time ago, and now you live with it. Every day, every sleepless night, every time you look over your shoulder. You're a Caporegime, a captain, a made man with 20 soldiers under your command, and you'd give anything to be nobody again.